I'm Dianne Andrews, your host of Dianne Andrews in Black and White. Thank you for being in our audience today. I appreciate you coming in. And thank you in YouTube for seeing us all over the world. Also, we're a statewide program in Louisiana, and we want to thank you down in New Orleans, Lafayette, Baton Rouge. Here we're seeing 3 times a week, and we're also seen in Shreveport and Alexandria. We're in 50 of the 64 parishes in the state. This show, as you see, I have purple and gold on it. As anybody in Baton Rouge in the state of Louisiana and around the country knows, that is the Mighty Tigers, Louisiana State University colors. I have that on, and this dress has been waiting I've been doing this about 20 months, and it's been waiting about 19 months for the next guest that I'm going to introduce to you today that I am so pleased to have here. And that guest is a legend around the world, and that is Coach Dale Brown. Thank you for being with us, Coach.
Thank you for being pleasingly persevering. That's why I'm here.
I know. I didn't bug him too much.
No.
You have to know when to back off, when to hold him, and when to fold him, as the singer says, Kenny Rogers says. Next to him, there is a person who flew in from Baghdad, Iraq. If you keep up with Dianne Andrews in Black and White, you know about a month ago we did a show on terrorism to basketball, from Iran to Iraq to America. And that person is now sitting in the studio. It is so wonderful to have Sabah with me. Al-Daif. I'm sorry. So thank you for being here. He came here, if you saw the show, he and Coach Brown coached ball together, and Coach Brown is his mentor. He taught him everything he knew to become a champion, a lot of it, I think, over in Iraq, right?
That's
Sabah?
right. That's right.
It actually started in Manila in the Philippines.
That's right. When you met, right, at a clinic? Were you at a clinic in Manila
right.
in the 70s?
That's correct.
You all have been friends a long time. Let me give you a little bit of history about Coach Brown that a lot of people don't know. When he was growing up in South Dakota.
Everybody says that, and as a guest, they'll say Pierre. That's South Dakota. Nobody knows anything about North Dakota. You know why?
Why?
There's more people in this room than are in North Dakota.
The whole state.
So,
but didn't they find oil or something up there recently in one of the Dakotas?
Largest oil find in the world.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Is that in North or South?
North
or
Dakota.
both?
North
That's in
Dakota.
North. Okay, see, I thought it was South. That's why I remembered it.
Everybody says South, so don't
Yeah, you never think of North Dakota.
No, nobody does.
We forget there is one. I think we forget there's a North Dakota. But his mother was on welfare. But, it doesn't matter where you came from. And his mother worked to put him through school, making 50 cents an hour as a maid when he was growing up. But Coach Brown had a determination, a perseverance, and he came from good genes. My parents aren't college educated, and I went on to college and have an MBA. Coach Brown also has a master's from the University of Oregon, I think you went to. But you came to LSU in 1972. You were there 25 years before you left in 1997. Most people don't know that when Coach Brown came here, LSU was a losing basketball team. It was also desegregated, not segregated, it was segregated. I did a show with Dr. Thomas Durant on the desegregation of LSU, and we talked about you in that show. And Kathy Eames was also on that show with us when we did it with Dr. Durant. And we talked about how George Eames, her husband, helped also desegregate LSU. He used to tell me, you need some blacks on this team. He used to tell you all. But Coach came with such great, they call him the great motivator, and a coach with a heart. And I think that's why he turned that basketball team from a losing to a winning. I think you won 448 games while you were there. You went to 13 NCAA tournaments.
Were you A+? That's pretty darn good.
He did something called the freak defense, I also read, and I'm going to ask him when I get through with just this little spiel, and I'm going to ask him, what is the freak defense? I never heard that. I do like basketball. I look at all sports. I love sports, but he's going to explain that to us. So needless to say, he took a losing team by his raw skills and determination. He's also a star athlete. He played in high school. He played football, basketball, and he ran track. So he was an athlete when he came here from Washington State University is where he was coaching when he came here. So tell us about what's the freak defense and what else, your greatest moments, besides Shaq O'Neal probably is one of your greatest players that worked for you,
That's funny. A lot of people, and that's normal, a lot of people say, boy, I bet you're proud of Shaquille.
Yeah.
I'm very proud. I'm proud of 160 young men that were like my sons.
Yeah.
Because without basketball, basketball gave me the first good self-image of myself. It taught me discipline. It taught me teamwork, and it gave me a college education. So I wanted to return to people. But when they talk about, Shaquille's a star, you know who else is a star? A walk-on I had by the name of Jason Comier. Single-parent family, now a brain surgeon.
Oh, my God, yeah.
One of the leaders in the world. In fact, Ben Carson and him are like this. So there's so many people you encompass that, and I also found in my early career, it was real simple to me, and I knew this from the time I came here. Players really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Because there's puppets, and there's people, ego get involved, and
Right.
I know what it did for me, and I wanted to return it to the 160 young men that I had. 85 of them that stayed here the 4 years have a college degree.
And that's
That's way higher than any
average,
normal student
yes.
would have, so.
That's a little over 50% who got a college degree. I think the average
Right,
is 25% or something.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
And I said, I can guarantee you that I'm here first recruiting your son as a human being and a basketball player second. And 25 years from now, that'll still be true. Well, I lied. 50 years from now, I'm still doing the same thing.
Right.
And it's no pill, prayer, prescription, magic wand. Just treat people decently.
You lead with your heart. And that's a
Too
good
many
thing.
times.
Yeah,
That's
too
right.
many, me too. People
Yeah,
can tell
too
you that.
many
That's
times.
my family. I lead with my heart. Sometimes that's a big mistake. So you became acquainted with his heart and his skills. So
That's
tell us
right.
about that, Sabah.
Well, I met Dale Brown in Philippines in 1978. And since that time, we became like brothers. So I attended a clinic held by Coach Brown. And Coach Brown invited me to come over to Baton Rouge. And I attend all his practice with LSU. That's in 1979.
Now, where were you then? You were in Baghdad, Iraq, which is
Yes,
where
I
you're
was
from.
in
What
Baghdad.
school were you working
Yeah,
with
I
then
know.
there?
I was in the coaching club, one of the top club in Baghdad. And
When you say club for our American audience, what does that mean to us?
Yes,
when he
we
says
don't
club?
have the tournament in Iraq. Different from America. America, they have tournament, college basketball. In Iraq or Middle East, we have clubs. Clubs in different parts of states or
Like the athletic clubs?
athletic clubs
Okay.
for volleyball, football, basketball. So I coached first time after I retired. I became a coach for the
You were a
same
textile
club.
merchant, as your father and your father before him.
That's my
Your
family.
business, yes.
My family is in textile
Yeah.
from many years.
Yeah, number one in the country
Yes, that's right.
of Iraq.
So I also opened
And
business.
look at how he's dressed. You can tell that he likes. He's
Yeah, and my
merchandise.
business, same center of Baghdad in Rashid Street, and that's the center of private sector. All the businessmen invest their money in this market, import from all over the world, England, Europe, America, textile, clothes.
And then-
I used to import from England.
Tell them when we
Let's
get
let's get back to the ball.
The top
Let's get
textile
back to the
also,
basketball.
He's getting into
So-
business. So this
so-
show's not 3 hours long. So you
Yeah,
gotta
let's
talk
get into
quickly.
basketball.
Yeah. So
He's-
I came to Baton Rouge.
To see him.
Yeah,
to
and he
work with him.
invited me. Dale Brown invited me, and he
Y'all
did-
look just alike. Can't
he
tell you
did
apart.
many
Like brothers.
things for me. I attend
Yes.
all the practice for LSU, and I attend also games, and I took from many things I
Yeah.
learned from Coach Brown: shovel cut, passing game, help defense, delay game.
We made you win over there because you became a
Of
champion
course,
over
he
there.
became
Number
the-
one, didn't he?
It
National
was
basketball coach
national
of
coach
Iraq.
after that. When I returned, the
Let's
Basketball
hold that thought. We're
Federation-
going to have to cut to commercial break, and then we'll be right back with Dianne Andrews in black and white with Coach Dale Brown and Sabah from Baghdad, Iraq. This is an honor for me. Come on back to Dianne Andrews in black and white. Thank you for coming back to Dianne Andrews in black and white. There's a lot more to tell you about what's going on in the country right now and in the Middle East, but also a little bit more about basketball. So tell us a little bit more about this relationship and what you think of Sabah's skills.
I've
when he
been
was
in
coaching.
90 countries in the world. There's 4 coaches that are outstanding. Alexander Gamelski, who won numerous Olympics, the Russian. Sandra Gamba, Italy, Lindsay Gaze in Australia. These are legends. He's a legend.
Thank you.
He'd be
Thank
in one of
you,
that
Dale.
four.
Thank you. But I wanted to thank Coach again. If you may see this little patch under his eye, he was bleeding before he got here. He cut himself, I think, before you got here. And so I think blood, and you also cut yourself shaving.
His was vain.
But that was
His
his was
was in a hurry.
vanity.
His
Yours
was
is vanity.
waiting for me down in the
Because you were
line.
rushing him, Coach.
Mine hit
For
my
fun.
eye.
It's your fault. Yeah, you hit your eye. Yeah, so thank you for
So I
coming.
was in a hurry because he was waiting for me down in the lobby.
Right.
Yeah, so I shaved
let's talk-
quickly, I cut my face.
So thank you for coming anyway. There's 7 billion people
pleasure.
in the world, as you said. It's 7 billion legends potentially in the world, and there are 1.7 billion of those are Muslims. I've
right.
done many shows on religion about Muslim, and probably about 7 shows out of the 60 shows I've done have been with the Nation of Islam, Muslim, which is a little definitely different, but you all use the Quran. But I always say out of 1.7 billion, they're not 1.7 billion terrorists. They're not 1 billion terrorists. They're not 700,000 terrorists that happen to be Muslim. But there are terrorists or jihadists in that religion or that culture. Would you agree with me, Sabah, on that there are some bad people in the Middle East that happen to be Arab?
Yes, but the jihad, there's wrong, many wrong and mistakes. What's mean jihad? Islam is for peace and mercy and justice.
And that's what the word means, I think. Doesn't
Those
it mean peace?
ISIS and the people they are using jihad. Jihad is only to defend who is attacking you, not to killing people, innocent people.
I'm gonna
Jihad
show,
is to work for families, for a
Right.
country, to
As
go.
you're talking about to kill and destroy, there are going to be some pictures on your screen that you will see some bad work that ISIS did in his farmhouse.
That's right.
Right outside of Baghdad. They
In
destroyed
2009,
his...
in 2009.
They destroyed his farmhouse.
Farmhouse.
We
country
went
house.
in, 9/11, everyone remembers, was 2001. By 2003, we had invaded Iraq. And tell me, the people were happy that we had come in because they thought we were going to do good for you, because Saddam Hussein wasn't the best man in the world.
That's right. I agree with you. People were very happy, and they expected that America, when invaded Iraq, that the country and the people will be more happy,
Right.
more advanced forward, live good,
A democracy.
and democracy and freedom.
Because you were a dictatorship
But-
under Saddam Hussein, correct?
Yeah, that's right. The dictatorship of Saddam Hussein destroyed the country, the society, the economy.
One
as
thing
well.
I do want to mention, because I say this in my shows, we're going to take a minute and go back to some of my older shows. We're going to take a minute. You'll be seeing an old YouTube on here. But I said in my first show, I started in 14 at July 14, and I did an ISIS show in August. I said we're going to have lone wolf attacks. They're no JV team, and I don't know how anyone in power could think they're a JV team. And these people are ruthless. And it's not about getting their hearts and minds. They just hate the way that we live. And a lot of this has to do with greed also. Some of it has to do with we want the oil. And so we're going to take a minute and look at that, and then we'll be right back after you look at this YouTube. Okay. They'll be looking at some of the old YouTube.
What did you say at the end about the oil?
And the oil too, they want the oil.
Oil?
You talking about ISIS or?
They're in Libya now with the oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what, all the Benghazi
They
stuff.
got
People
it,
don't
sure.
realize that that's in Africa. I'm getting ready to do a show on that too.
I told Sabah the other day, ISIS, you can't even call them animals. That'd be
It's
disrespectful
beyond.
to animals.
That's right.
And
Barbarians.
Savages.
Barbarians.
they hate everybody.
They do.
Hey, don't
They
leave.
do.
I got a story to tell you. What's his name?
Omari.
Omari. Don't leave. I want to tell you a story. In order to break Pete Maravich's record, he
Oh,
averaged
really?
44
Oh, well, we're going to be here all
points.
night. We're going to be here all night.
Bird was a rookie.
It's about, I
from
don't think you talk more than
Indiana
But
Coach.
listen,
Barry's was,
say you had
last year.
say you had a son and you sent him to college for 4 years. You said, I want you to break Pete Maravich's record. All you have to do, son, is this: 15 3-pointers every game you play for 4 years.
45
you'll break
points.
it by 0.8 of a point.
That's 45
Correct.
points.
We got somebody coming in about 20 years. My nephew.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna have him right.
All right.
That's kindergarten.
Tell him that story then.
I would, LSU saved my life.
Oh, really?
I was a severe stutterer and everything. And I went.
So was Shaquille.
He was.
He was a stutterer? I didn't know that.
Bad.
And
He
they,
talks with a little.
Well, the professors didn't save your life.
you did it, Omar. You
know
did a
who
great
saved your
job
life,
yourself.
Mary? the girls, because you were a stutterer. So don't give LSU credit. You saw them damn pretty girls on the campus, so you learned how, and you stuttered at first and they wouldn't listen to you. That's how you did it on your own.
Yes, sir.
Shaquille right now when he gets
I didn't
nervous
know he was a
stutters.
stutterer.
I call him.
Yeah. He still does it. When he'll call me,
But he's doing better with the shows and everything.
it's just when he gets nervous.
Oh,
He
really?
called me one night, 11 o'clock at night. Coach, I knew something was wrong. He said, we're not going anywhere, the Lakers. They had Kobe Bryant, him, Karl Malone, and Gary Payton. He
That
said,
was 04? When they lost
Yeah,
to
it
the
was,
Pistons.
it was,
right?
correct.
That's what my
Damn
Pistons.
almighty.
Oh, he's got my.
And you're a stutterer,
1972,
you're making up for it.
We got it from my grandma, from his grandma, my mother.
Stutterer too.
He was?
George James was a stutterer. In school, they laughed at him because he stuttered. He couldn't
Well, I
say
got
anything.
it. Joe Hawkins just died.
Well, yeah, 77.
77.
Did you hear what I told your relative about being creative? When you had Pete Maravich and you made the noise, Diane could have come right back and said, see, he's been dead for years, but there's still people that believe in Pete Maravich.
I love,
Yeah.
he's better than Michael Jordan to me. Like,
But
He's
if he had been on the stage, Coach, I would have,
He's
but we
the
can't.
best offensive player
We
ever.
can't have you hollering out in the audience.
Jordan.
We don't go in there.
Michael Jordan. I don't care. No,
Michael Jordan was a great player, but in college, he was the best.
He says Pete Maravich was the best ever in college.
In
He was
college,
offensively, he was.
college,
yeah.
Offensively, but
NBA,
total all around
Yeah.
coach. It wouldn't be
Yeah.
him, would it? He was
Pull it
offensive.
up on the internet.
I'm asking Coach Brown.
Oh.
You're good.
Total all around, who was the best player? He is. Remember? All
Not
those-
total, not total all around.
Yeah, not total all around,
Offensively,
offensive,
yeah.
best scorer ever. But see, when he did that, Ken looked at it like, "What is wrong with you? You crazy?" And I saw he shut it down a little bit. Yeah. But, okay, now so we're coming back from the YouTube, right? We only got 7. We got to speed it up. Okay, so we're coming back from the YouTube, and we're talking about ISIS being savages. I think we should start there. That they're
Okay, yes.
Coach, why don't you say that statement? I like that. That to call them animals. Do you want to say that on TV? To
Also,
call them
they are
animals.
less than animals.
Yeah, they're less than animals. Call them animals
yeah.
would be
Yeah.
an insult to an animal, right?
Between us and Quran and verses, that's animal better than them
Yeah.
because
The
many
Quran
things.
doesn't, and I'm going to ask you that, the Quran doesn't teach murdering, and I'll ask you, where do they get this from when they reference the Quran? Like al-Baghdadi, you know, the head of ISIS.
Yeah.
Well,
Baghdadi.
Sabah, wouldn't it be, and I'm not trying to tell you, but I think it's similar to the Bible. The Bible in there has old stuff, and the Quran does the same. The Quran did have in there about killing infidels and everything, but that isn't just like the Bible.
Right, you can take it and twist
It's
it.
like the crusade.
They twist
Yeah, twist it,
It's-
okay.
So,
The thought, the
It-
idea,
yeah.
belief.
Yeah.
so the Bible and the Quran are much alike. The Bible had things were terrible, the Quran, but
Right.
the Bible was
Well, maybe we
corrected.
won't get into that one, that may
Correct,
take a
yeah,
little
it's
longer.
too
Let's not do
too
that one, yeah, that's another
complicated.
show.
That's right.
Yeah, that's another show.
You got a lot to choose because I've been rolling on all this.
Oh, are you? Okay, all right. He'll just have to edit it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So rolling 3, 7, 5, 7 minutes. That's what I said. 3,
7 total, when
Seven
we
total,
said, okay, that'll take us to 25.
Right.
Okay.
3.
Let's just take it to 26 then, because we're gonna need 8, I know.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, 8 minutes in.
Okay.
3, 2.
Let me go back to you, Sabah. Tell me now, ISIS destroyed your farm. You've seen men, there were, when Saddam Hussein was the dictator there, when he led Iraq, and we invaded in 2003, because we said he had weapons of mass destruction, which we never found, but he was a bad guy. But his second in command was a Christian. In Iraq, there were 7 million people. 20% of those were Christians.
Yes.
In Baghdad, in the country, there were 30 million. So you had 6 million Christians living in the country of Iraq. Today, what I've read, and I've done shows on it, they're beheading the Christians, Coptic Christian, one of the first Christians in the world, they're killing them in Iraq. They're really ridding the country of all Christians or raping them, is what we said. We talked about it on the show I did with you, but now in person. That is my understanding, what I've heard, what I've read, and that is what we talked about also, right?
Yes, I understand you. We were living Muslim, Christian, different religion in peace for many years. Mixed together,
Right.
lived together, neighbors. But when ISIS start bombing and coming to Iraq, first They bombed a church and they killed many people during the ceremony.
And let me let people understand,
Inside
America,
the
when we
church.
left, you all asked us to keep 10,000 troops there. We left nobody to help your government, and the government was still weak, and it was embryonic, it was new. And we also left $12 billion of our hardware that ISIS assumed took control of.
And the United States left because the Iraqi leader,
Yeah,
what was
yeah.
his name? Started with an M.
Prime Minister Maliki.
Maliki.
He wanted him to leave.
But he asked for 10,000 troops, everything I've read.
But they did mistake that in short.
Yes, it's
they
just
should
leave,
keep
but leave
them
us
firm.
some people to help train a little more, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, it's pretty documented, that he did ask for 10,000 and we wouldn't leave it. Now, today, you're starting to win again over in Iraq, but we have, that's quoted 4,000 special operations there, that people don't say that we're back in there, but we are back in there on the ground somewhat.
There are experts and supervisors.
Yes, we call them special operations.
Special operation.
They're on the ground with you,
On
though.
the ground, on some bases,
So we're
aircraft.
going back now, winning some of the towns that we already had won and we lost over the last 7, 8, 10 years. And now we're back trying to regain them with our troops again, who are leading and training your troops, I think.
Yes, we hope that give more support
Right.
to advance and discipline the Iraqi army and soldiers and soldiers or whatever. So we are short of weapons. We don't have aircraft, fighting aircraft.
ISIS took all that we left there.
ISIS took some
$12 billion.
tanks
Yeah,
and
they-
heavy machines.
Yes,
only.
but not aircraft,
But
right.
we
Right.
don't have aircraft. If we
Right.
would have aircraft, we can finish ISIS very quickly.
You know, we seem to believe in drones and not use a lot of aircraft with pilots flying in to get, you cannot, and I'm not an expert, but everybody I've read, and I'll ask you guys, how do you win the war with drones if you don't have foot soldiers going back in to take those cities? And that's what you're doing now. Your soldiers are back taking those cities. We're still trying to get Mosul back.
Well,
right.
Mosul, yes, it was a very hard mistake. They withdraw
Yeah.
the army from Mosul, so ISIS took
Came
a
in.
place and with some help from inside.
Mm-hmm.
And another states, Ramadi and Tikrit.
Do people there hate ISIS in Baghdad and
Of
in
course,
Iraq? They do.
everybody hates ISIS.
Because-
ISIS is going to finish.
They'll be
Because now
the low animals, as
Iraqi-
Coach Brown calls
the
them.
Iraqi army is attacking them and deliberate last 3 months ago, Ramadi and Tikrit and other states. Now, only Mosul is left. I
To
think-
conquer again,
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
back
Your
under your
question-
control.
question to Sabah. We were in a deep he's like my brother. I mean,
Thank you.
I don't look at color, creed,
Right.
sex, any of that stuff.
Well, you dig
We
deeper.
think alike, but you
You
ask
put the first black guy on LSU basketball. I want to say that.
You ask him an interesting question, do they hate ISIS? Here's the problem. Since the beginning of history, whenever evil and good compromise, evil always wins. You cannot compromise with evil.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the Arab world,
Mm-hmm.
as Sabah and I talked about the other night, and he agrees, they've got to take over.
That's right.
It can't always be the United States
Right.
can't be the policeman.
I agree.
That's
Now,
right.
they need help.
Right.
We need to furnish them with
Right.
plans. But we can't fight everybody's, it's not our battle.
But what we're doing now, Coach, we have the special operations in there to help them,
Correct.
to
That's
teach
right.
them, and
It's
this is
been
the
a big-
right way
that's
to do
correct.
it. If
That's
we had
correct.
done that back in
The
2009, we'd be in better shape.
The USA policy kept watching
Right.
and withdraw from Iraq, but they left the government, weak government, many problems,
Well, it's
no contracts,
It's something
no
though
building.
very interesting I want to
Yes.
get in here, Sabah, about there's a city being built, has been built by Korea,
By Korea, yes.
10 kilometers,
have
and you're going to see a
infrastructure.
picture of that on the screen. Right now, it looks like Dubai. It's a beautiful city. It will house 600,000 families.
Yeah,
I think
residents.
is what they're saying,
Yes.
residents. And it's in
Besmaya.
Besmaya is the name of the city.
About-
They've been building it 3 years, and they expect it to be
Yes.
finished in 2019. And I looked at the article that was written, and they asked them, "What about ISIS?" They said, "Oh, ISIS is just a temporary inconvenience because now ISIS." Similar to somebody else's statement, ISIS is now in Libya. A lot of people don't know that Benghazi is in Libya, which is next to Egypt. And now they've taken over the oil. ISIS is there taking over the oil. Or Daesh, you may hear it called Daesh, and I asked Sabah yesterday,
Yes.
what did that mean? And that's
in
ISIS in Arabic.
Yeah, that's mean Islamic states, Arabic countries, United countries.
So ISIS seems to be, as you all are regaining some of your territory, they're headquartered in Syria, in Raqqa, Syria. 30% of their money comes in from oil, 30% they have taxes. They really collect taxes, and that's, to me, Coach, the biggest problem with this terrorist
They
group.
did that taxes in Mosul as well.
That's right. They collect taxes, and they take in, that's
By
part of their
force,
money.
by force.
By force. They go and make you
They
pay. It's like the
threaten
mafia.
people. Like mafia,
And,
that's
but this is the only terrorist group in history that I can come up with or read about, you may know better than me, that has had this kind of money, this kind of recruiting power. They have the best social media experts in the world, and that's what we are fighting against.
And let's add an asterisk to that. The minimum number they have and the maximum is between 35 and 50,000. They could be snuffed out.
That's right.
If there's unity, and there is not unity, and the United States cannot do this on their own. Sabah hit it perfectly. He
Right.
knows. He lives there. The present president of Iraq stopped the motorcade the other day and got out and shook his hand because of his family, and he knew who he was. But we've got to. My mother taught me this. You're looking for a helping hand. Look at the end of your arm.
That's right.
You got to look at the end of your
That's
arm.
right. It's all going to be right there.
Right.
But I think if we look at what we did, we could have handled it a little different if we had left more special operations
No
guys in there to
question,
help.
no question.
To help in the United Nations, I don't know really what they do, and maybe
they
that's
should have
another
put, They should have
show.
put him ahead of the Iraqi army. They wouldn't have been retreating. They'd have been going that direction.
I think they were scared, and ISIS had outmaneuvered them with weapons that we left there at that time when we left. They didn't have anything to fight with. We're going to have to close it up, you all. But maybe we'll do another show. Sabah, when are you coming back? That's when I'll get Dale back on.
I hope we come back again.
You'll come back again. Thank you very much. Or maybe we'll do another telephone interview
Yes.
with you.
We could do.
Thank you for watching Dianne Andrews in Black and White.